New class. Please join us right here. Sunnahfollowers presents a wonderful new class to add to your Islamic education. Sins of Disbelief, taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba, streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Everybody can. Okay, I see I'm live. Wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't know I would come live that quick. Give me a second, guys. Got to type. What class is this? Belief in the angels. Belief in the angels. I forgot what my topic is about. What am I speaking about them? I don't know. I just keep it like this. Belief in angels. That quick, I forgot what my topic is tonight. It'll pop back up on the screen once I start talking. Okay, everybody on YouTube and Facebook. All right, let me see if I'm streaming on all the platforms. Okay, there's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Telegram, and we got some weird looking people on Telegram. LinkedIn, mashallah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 platforms. All the channels. Am I on the channels? Give me a second to check. Let me check Facebook. Okay, there I am. Yes, I'm on all the channels. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm doing 10 things at one time and I forget what if I didn't push the button here or the button there. So it's kind of hard for me to keep up, but I got it together now. Okay, let's get started. Inna alhamdulillah wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to our series on Aqeedah. This is belief in what the belief system of the Muslim. Okay, what the belief system of the Muslim entails, the correct belief system. And this is something that we need to discuss because most Muslims, unfortunately, guys, are not, I repeat, are not upon the correct belief system, just as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said we wouldn't be. You know, he talked about the later generations. Or, you know, a lot of you guys asked me about anxiety. Did the Prophet Muhammad suffer with anxiety? Yes, he did. In fact, all the prophets of Allah did. Moses did too. Abraham, all of them did. You know, anxiety is just a human characteristic that a lot of us suffer with. Okay, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his wife Aisha when she asked him, "What do you worry about the most?" He told her, "Well, I worry about what's going to happen to you, my wives, after I die." He said, "I worry how you all will be taken care of after me." He said, "And I also worry about the later generation of Muslims." Because after Allah had shown the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam what would happen to us. And when the Prophet found out how we would deviate away from the traditional Islam, how we would imitate the non-believers in our practice, this bothered him. And how there would only be a few true believers, you know, because it was hard to imagine Islam being the second religion of the world. Remember, the Prophet only had a handful of followers, you know, so imagine his surprise when Allah let him know that his nation would outnumber any of the other nations that came before him, that we would be the second, you know, highest. But Allah let the Prophet know it comes with a cost. Even though millions and millions of people will be Muslim, he said out of those million, there'll only be a handful of true believers. And that's the reality. Allah said, because the Islam will become so watered down, so messed up right now as we're speaking. Do you guys know that there's Muslim conferences going on all over the world right now? Yeah, we like to party, just like the Kafir. How many of those Muslim conferences are conducted Islamically? Maybe one. One. You go to a lot of these Muslim conferences, and you guys know I ain't lying. Most of the people speaking ain't nothing but a bunch of Sufis. Their belief system is twisted. They don't believe in the qadr of Allah, most of them. They don't believe that there is no power and there is no might except in Allah. Not to mention, as the sister here is saying, how many of those conferences contain music and singing? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what we Muslims do now. We party like the Kafir. We're going to throw in music. We're going to throw in singing. We even got a comedy club. Did y'all know that? Look at the Muslims. Like one sister here is saying, you know, she went to a conference for this weekend somewhere. And she said that she left. She paid all that money. They charge all this money. Yeah, we Muslims into the money. It's all about a $25 to $50 ticket. Oh, yeah, per person. Even though you got 10 kids. Everybody know Muslims make babies all over the place. But anyway, she said after paying all that money to go to this conference that she went to for this weekend, she said, and Layla, she said they had music, they had Muslim rap singers. She said, and comics. I said, what do you mean comics? I said, they hired some real comedians? She said, these are Muslim comedians. I said, I heard about them. She said, yeah, everything was a joke. They make jokes out of our religion. She said, Layla, I walked out and I asked for a refund. She said, now I see why you tell us that our home is better for us. Yeah, that's what the Prophet said. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke about us, the later generations. We'd be upon so much fitna. We'll resemble the non-believer so badly that the safest and best place for us is our home. Because when you go around other Muslims, you're going to be exposed to the same corruption that you were exposed to around the non-Muslims. And this sister is a new shahada. This sister is a new convert. She says she left that scene. You know, she told me, she said, Sister Layla, I converted to Islam because I didn't want to be a part of that scene no more. The music, the dancing, the joking, the playing, the concerts. She said, she said, I thought I was going to a conference, she said, that would have speakers like you talking about Islam. She said, it turned into a celebrity party. She said, it was no different than the comedy clubhouse that I used to attend as a Kafir. This is what the Prophet used to worry about. When Allah manifested that this is how we would become, he told Aisha, worry about the real believers. He said there'll be hundreds of Muslims, but search throughout the land, you'll only find a handful of true believers. And I worry for them, because it's going to be so hard for those few believers to maintain that which I came with, because they're going to be looked at as strange. The people are going to make fun of them and call them the bad guy, because they're trying to uphold, you know, Allah's laws and my Sunnah. He says, so I worry. He suffered with anxiety for us, guys. Those of us who are trying to live this religion the way we're supposed to. Not the ones that mix the dunya with this religion. Not the ones that's imitating the Kafir. Not the ones that ain't just a Muslim in name. But for those of us who are trying to be like those companions, he worried about us. And he made dua for us. Subhanallah. So for the new shahadas here, I know it's hard, just like The sister here told me she went to this conference this weekend, and well, she said they ain't giving her back her money either. She just typed it. Wait a minute, what you say? She said they ain't giving her back her money. They told her she can't, ain't no refunds. Oh, did you expect one? I'm gonna tell you now, they're gonna probably call you a Salafi Wahhabi. You tell them that you're learning from Laila Nasheeba. You're a Salafi Wahhabi. Okay. But your home is better. I keep telling you, new Shahada women, you women are getting more blessings staying in your house, turning on your computer, putting me on your TV and learning from me than going to any mosque or any conference. Yeah. Now, there are some good conferences out there, but they kind of hard to find. But you know, yeah, just stay away from that, sister. And I already told you about that when she's asking me now. You guys probably can't see because unless you're in her group, about the conference that's coming up in March. No, I already told you, sisters, I don't recommend none of y'all go to that conference. None of you Muslims go to it. Ain't gonna be nothing there about no La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. It's just a gathering place that they gather every year to hook up with sisters that they knew from the old days. But ain't none of the speakers there upon none of them are like me. If you want, they're not like me. Let me put it that way. They're the opposite of me. Not saying that I'm all that in a bag of chips. But y'all know how my dawah is and what my dawah is based on. Theirs is nothing like this. And if you were to ask them about the qadr of Allah, you would find that they don't even believe in Allah's decree correctly. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Brother Zahir. As Brother Zahir typed here, guys, for you new shahadas, he's correct. He's correct. You can always test to see where a person is if you ask them questions about the qadr, the decree of Allah. Ask them, does man create his own actions? Does Allah create evil? Ask questions like that. Who has the power to stop war? Who creates war? Ask those type of questions. Who's in control of the world? Questions like that, like Brother Zahir is typing here, that's how you know you've been dealing with some people who are not upon the correct belief system. Because most Muslims are going to give you every answer but the correct one on that. That's why the Prophet, good job, Brother Zahir. As Brother Zahir said, and by the way, yes, Brother Zahir teaches Islam too. Y'all know he teaches on his own website too. And like he said, you know, most people are not upon the correct belief system. No. So I don't recommend you sisters go to that one either. None of them. Not them. No. No, no. All right, but let's get to our topic. And I really feel bad for you, sister. They won't give you back your refund. They told you to chalk it up as donations in the way of Allah. Yeah, she said, how can it be in the way of Allah if it was music involved and making fun of our religion and celebrities? You know, that's the thing that Brother Youssef talked about. And by the way, guys, before I start my class, and I'm busy today too, man, but I just uploaded the shorts from Brother Youssef's lecture. And that's what he was talking about. Islam is so messed up today. It's so distorted. It's so strange. These Dawah brothers, it's all about celebrities. Who cares about a celebrity? As the Prophet Muhammad said, people will come into Islam and leave so quickly. A person to be a believer, go to sleep and wake up a kafir. These celebrities have been converting to Islam since whenever. How many of them are practicing? Oh my God, who cares about a celebrity? The only celebrities for us are the companions. I don't care about no famous boxer, no famous wrestler, no famous singer. The simple fact that they come from those lifestyles should tell you to stay away from them. Let me share with you this hadith. When Islam, after the conquest of Mecca, when the Quraysh converted to Islam, the numbers amongst the Muslims had never been that strong before. And they had the largest army ever. They had to deal with the Romans. So one of the new converts from the Quraysh, he said to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah, we got the money. Because that's when the Prophet gave the call for jihad, because the Romans wanted to attack the Muslims. What's the source of this? Bukhari and Muslim and Muwatta. You'll find the whole story in those authentic books. Bukhari goes into great detail. But anyway, when the Prophet gave the command to get that he needed, we had to go out as Muslims and face the Romans. That was the largest army the Muslims ever had, because the Quraysh had money. They were not poor. They were able to get together camels and horses and all of this stuff. And one of them boastingly went to the Prophet and said, oh, Prophet, look how large your army is now. Boasting. He said, who's the best? All of us have now, since all of us have embraced this new religion, and since all of us have embraced you as our prophet, who's the best Muslim amongst us? He thought that the Prophet was going to say, those of you with the money, because of the money that y'all have, we able to get together the camels, horses, and stuff. And the other Muslims, the original companions who were with the Prophet, were standing there too. And they all were waiting to hear his answer. You know, a little jealousy there. So the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was quiet for a second. And then he spoke. He said, the best Muslims amongst you are those who were best in their character, who were best in their manners, who had good behavior before Islam. The best amongst you as Muslims are those of you who had scruples, good integrity before Islam. He said, you are the men and women that make the best Muslims after Islam. And everybody shut up. And that's what I say. All this celebrity garbage. The simple fact that these men and women come from music, sex, drugs, that should tell you right there, they ain't nobody to put on no platform. How many drug addicts go back to drugs? How many singers go back to singing? How many wrestlers and boxers go back to it? Because of the money. So we got to stop being impressed by loser women and men of today. You want to be impressed by those companions. Those are the heroines and heroes of Islam. Y'all understand? Just like when you choose who to be friends with. Am I going to become friends with an ex-prostitute? No, I'm sorry. I'm not from that lifestyle. There's no way that I can become closely attached and to some woman or who came from a lifestyle of prostitution and drugs, because I'm scared of those type of people. It's not my type of lifestyle. People fall off the wagon every day. Most Muslims are weak. I don't want to be influenced. The prophet said, choose the best amongst you. And the best amongst us are those who were best before Islam. That hadith is Sahih Bukhari, and I dropped the mic. So you stupid men out there, y'all got to stop destroying this ummah by putting on plateaus these stupid celebrities that supposedly convert to Islam. They're nobody. So prove it. Do like Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan, when he converted to Islam, he spent the rest of his life making up for all the bad things he did before Islam. He didn't travel around giving his conversion story. So you men are stupid. Putting these ex-pimps, ex-drug addicts, ex-singers, ex-maniac fighters. All he could do was spend his living busting somebody's head in. That ain't nobody to promote to these Muslim youth. What's wrong with you, brothers? That's their problem. You a Muslim, alhamdulillah. Prove it to Allah. Spend the rest of your life making up for all the heads you beat, all the faces you cracked. Until then, the heroes of Islam are the companions, man. That's the real truth. And I want you Muslims listening to me to not fall for that. Do you understand, sister? Now, this sister spent her money, her last hard work money, going to a conference that was of no benefit. She said it was a celebrity conference. It was a no Islam. She said nothing that she walked away learning about Allah. It didn't bring her closer to Allah. It didn't bring her children closer. Her children got an autograph. She said her children got an autograph. That's about it. You know, I keep telling y'all, beneficial knowledge you ain't gonna find everywhere. And you brothers, shame on you. You're leading these new shahadas to the gates of hell. Just stupid. All right. So that's my speech for the day. All right. She says she's pretty ticked off because, yeah, well, nothing I can do, sister. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way. Allah decreed for you to walk that road so you could see that what Laila Nasheeba is teaching you is correct. Okay? So chalk it up as a lesson learned. How much money was it all together with your kids? Oh, yeah. Chalk it up. Lesson learned. Call the kids daddy. Tell the daddy that the baby needs a new pair of shoes and hopefully they daddy send him some money. Oh, he ain't Muslim? Well, that's okay. Child support. Hello. All right, let's go to our class. That's a whole different topic. Yeah, be careful of these conferences, guys. They're all over the place. Muslims party like it's 1999. Muslims love to party. That's why I don't go to weddings. Oh yeah, our wedding. That's a whole new. We're gonna do a topic on that for the Q&A. These Muslim weddings are just pathetic. You might as well just go to the Kafir wedding. 1999. Oh. All right, let's put the PowerPoint up and begin our lecture. Tonight, we're going to speak about the angels. And I forgot what my topic is, but it's going to come up to me as soon as I put this PowerPoint up. Let me see what hold on for a second. Wait a minute. Is this Precious? Make me a co-host on the laptop.
Okay.
Yeah, anything with Laila Nasheeba, make it a co-host. Yeah.
Yeah, you are co-host.
Really?
Yep. Says Laila Nasheeba co-host.
So the co-host can't turn on screen share, y'all?
No, Precious, she has another Laila Nasheeba on the Tony.
Oh, I got two computers in here.
Oh,
yeah.
Let me see. Okay, I see.
Okay. 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 Did she do it? Is it? Okay, that's fine. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. We're trying a new experiment. And by the way, Precious, if that person come in, before you ban him, let's see if he can do it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if he can do it first. We trying this. You know, Zoom trying to figure out what's going on too. We're gonna try this because it didn't work with Samat yesterday. Okay, let's try this. Okay, here's the PowerPoint, guys, because I forgot what my topic is, but it'll come up when I put this PowerPoint up. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Yeah, I got a lot I do. It's hard to keep up. I mean, I got a photographic memory, but I'm human, you know. Nobody knows everything. If they thought about it, I can't do it. Okay, let's see. This is it. Hold on, let me wind it. I don't know what's wrong with my stupid computer. There it is. All right, can y'all see that now? Take this down. Take that down. Take this down. Oh, okay, that's my topic tonight. Okay, here we go, guys. It's going to be a good one. I forgot. We're going to speak about the nature of the angels. We talked about some of their attributes yesterday. The attributes are some of the things they can do. For example, how they can transform into a beautiful human being, how they can transform into a beautiful animal, a bird. We also spoke yesterday about another attribute. And by the way, the quiz is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big quiz on what I talked about yesterday and today. So take notes. We also talked about another attribute the angels have. They're fast. They are faster than the speed of light. Nothing travels faster than them. They're faster than the jinn. So those are some of the attributes. Well, today we're going to go into aspects of their nature. Aspects of their nature. And the first thing that I want every Muslim listening to me to understand is this. A lot of people ask, are the angels held accountable for their actions? Well, even though the angels are not capable of disobeying Allah as humans do, we still cannot say that they're not held accountable. What we can say is that they're not held accountable as we are. Am I making sense? In other words, the angels are not going to have to stand before Allah to be judged on the day of judgment. The angels will not be thrown into the hellfire. So they're not held accountable like we are. But whether they're held accountable because they don't have free will. The angels do not have free will. They don't make choices for themselves. They don't think like we do. Because as Allah says in the Quran, the angels, they fear their Lord and they do what they are commanded. So the angels do not disobey Allah. They don't disobey his commands. But can I say that that means that Allah doesn't hold them accountable for something? Only Allah knows. Only Allah knows. Only Allah knows. When we talked about the story as to how Allah created Adam, alayhi salam, that's an example as to how we cannot say that they're not held accountable, you know. And what's the story of how Allah created Adam? Well, Ibn Abbas, what's the source? Bukhari and Muslim again. Most of the hadiths I give you guys, you can find them in Bukhari and Muslim. As Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, told us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, when Allah created Adam, he first sent the angel Jibril to go and gather the dirt from the earth. So when Jibril came down to get the dirt, the earth refused to give it up. So Jibril went back to Allah and said, the earth didn't give it to me. So Allah sent Michael. The earth refused to give it to Michael too. So Michael came back and said, Allah, the earth wouldn't give it. Neither one of these angels disobeyed Allah. They both carried out, they attempted to carry out the action. They both came to earth, but the earth wouldn't give it to them. But they obeyed Allah and tried, but they failed in their task. So then Allah sent the angel of death. The angel of death is the most ferocious of all the angels. He came to the earth. The earth refused to give it to him. So the angel of death, he said, well, I'm going to take it. He fought the earth and took it. And just to show the earth a thing or two, he gathered the red dirt, the yellow dirt, the brown dirt, the black dirt, the orange dirt, the white dirt. He gathered dirt from all over the earth just to show the earth, I'm going to do what I got to do, what Allah tell me to do. And he brought it back to Allah. And that's how Allah made Adam out of that dirt. And that's why we are all of different colors. Some of us are white, some of us are red, some of us are yellow, pink, orange, whatever. Because the angel of death got that dirt from all over the earth. Now, the angels none of those other angels disobeyed him. It's just that they came back empty-handed. So whether Allah held them accountable, that's between Allah and them. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Okay? So only Allah knows whether they'll be accountable in some way. Allah could have said, well, Jibril, the same way that the angel of death made the earth give up dirt, you could have done the same thing. Michael, you could have done the same thing. Okay? You should have pushed it. He probably told him you could have pushed it like the angel of death did. So whether Allah holds them accountable for not fulfilling a task, only he knows. But they will not be judged like you and me. The angels will not be fuel of the hellfire because disobeying Allah, they're not capable of. Everybody understand that? So I want y'all to remember that. That's going to be on the quiz for tomorrow. Even though they're not held accountable like we are, we can't say that they're not held accountable in some way. Another part of the nature of the angels is they are of the highest form of servitude to Allah. They are the servants who bear all the characteristics of high servitude. They serve Allah and they carry out his instructions. The knowledge of Allah encompasses them, and they cannot go beyond what he commands them to do, nor go against the instructions that are given to them. Just like the angel Michael and angel Jibril, they didn't go against Allah's commands. They did come to the earth. They did try to get the dirt, but the earth just wouldn't give it up. So they didn't disobey him, and they didn't go beyond his commands. They came back to Allah and they said the earth ain't giving it to us. And also the angels, part of their nature, they are in fear of Allah. And if they were to overstep their mark, Allah would punish them. But they are not capable of that. They don't make decisions like we do. They're nothing like us with that. They do not make suggestions before their Lord, nor do they oppose any of his commands. Instead, they think what he commands them to think, and they do whatever he commands them to do, as Allah himself tells us in the interpretation of the meaning. They speak not a word until Allah has spoken, and they act on his commands. This is the dalil. And I want y'all to remember this, because many of you will come in contact with Sufis. And Sufis have a whole different perception, depending on the group or the sect, about this. But here's the words of Allah. Allah says the angels do not speak until Allah has spoken to them, and they do only what he tells them to do. There are no fallen angels. Okay? Also, we have this hadith also from Sahih Bukhari, that Ibn Abbas tells us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked the angel Jibril one day. He said, why come you don't visit us more often? Now, this is a question that our prophet asked the angel Jibril. He said, why don't you come to visit more often? Jibril didn't answer but instead Allah answered this. Allah sent this verse down saying, we angels do not come except by the command of your Lord Muhammad. To him belongs what is before us and what is behind us and what is between those two. And your Lord is not forgetful. This is the dalil. What's the source? Bukhari. This is the tafsir, the explanation. Like I tell you guys, when I explain the Quran to you, I don't need to use Ibn Kathir's book. I'm going to use the hadiths. And this is the tafsir of that verse. You know, Allah sent this verse down because the prophet asked Jibril, why don't you come visit me more often? And Jibril let him know, you know, we can't come unless Allah commands us to. And also, see here, Jibril didn't even answer him. He couldn't even answer unless Allah told him what to answer. And that's when Allah sent this verse to Jibril, who in turn pronounced it to the prophet. So the angels, they do not speak, nor do they answer any questions unless Allah tells them to. So that shows that their accountability is not like yours and mine. However Allah holds them accountable is only known by him, but they will not be punished like us because they're not like us. Also, another nature or characteristic of the angel is that they worship Allah. They glorify him. The angels remember Allah. And the greatest way of remembering Allah is by glorifying him. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, arrogance is Allah's cloak and pride is his garment. Allah loves to be praised. Allah loves to be glorified. And the angels do that. The angels of the throne, they glorify Allah night and day. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Those angels who carry the throne of Allah and those around it glorify and praise their Lord. This is why I tell you guys, you new Shahadas and old Muslims, one of the best things to say is Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. This is easy on the tongue. That means no matter what language you speak, you can make your tongue say Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Allah loves that. The Prophet said, anyone who says Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Allah forgives you of your sins and he rewards you with blessings. And it keeps your connection to Allah open and strong. That's glorifying Allah. That's praising Allah. If you don't learn any Arabic other than the Fatiha and Tashahu, learn Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah. Also Subhanallah. All praise is due to Allah. That's what that means. Also, all the angels glorify him constantly without stopping. They do it night and day. And during they do it night and day. And unlike the humans, they're proud to do it. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. And verily, we angels stand in rows. And by the way, brother, what was his brother's name? He had an Arabic name. For the brother with the Arabic name that I can't remember. You see, I'm better at remembering English names like Timothy and Edward. I can remember them. Brother Zahir, I remember because I know who he is. But for the brother that asked me to give you the evidence that the angels stand in rows, here's the verse of the Quran. Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, we angels stand in rows for prayers, just as you Muslims stand in rows for prayers. And we angels indeed are those who glorify Allah and perform prayers. There's your Dalil, brother. They glorify Allah so much because glorification is the highest form of remembrance of Allah. To glorify, and that's why, let me make this point too. That's why it's haram. It's haram. It's haram to glorify a person. Praising a person is not haram. But to glorify is to worship. This is why, and I want my students to pay attention, because I still have two knucklehead old students who celebrate birthdays, and they think I don't know. You know, I do know. This is why birthdays are haram, because you're glorifying a person. You're saying that because you were born on this day, you are deserving of a cake and you are deserving to be praised. You are deserving to be glorified. We only glorify Allah. So all you hard-headed Muslims out there who are too old to learn, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, guys. You old sisters better get it together. Take away that slave mentality and stop celebrating birthdays, because this is shirk. All your good deeds in this world will be of no help for you. You will die a kafir because you glorified yourself. You glorified your children, your grandchildren, your friends, your family, when you should have only been glorifying Allah. Birthdays are haram. We don't glorify no creation. All we glorify is Allah. Everybody understand that? And glorifying something, this is the highest way to remember. That's also why in Islam, eulogies are haram. This is another question that one of the new shahadas asked me. If somebody dies, can we eulogize them? Astaghfirullah. No, it's haram. And I want somebody, Fame, if you're here, I want you to go to dictionary.com and look up the meaning of the English word eulogize. So I want these new shahadas to understand why it's haram. If we ponder the meaning of these simple English words, you will get the answer yourself. So family, let me know when you got it. Look up eulogize on dictionary.com and read to me what it means. Are you there, family? First gotta make sure she's here.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
Okay, good. That's my girl. You know, she got a job now, so I gotta make sure she's here.
Okay, the definition is to say or write good things about someone or something at his funeral as a great actor or a good friend.
Okay, to write things. You're basically summarizing all the good things that this person did in their life. That's eulogizing. You're putting this person up on a level or a pedestal that person shouldn't be put on. Why? Because as human beings, we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. You're going to disregard all the bad things in my life and just focus on the good things I've done as if I am above making mistakes. Now do y'all see why it's haram when you look up the meaning? And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he was on his deathbed, as he lay in the lap of his wife Aisha, and his other wives were around him. By the way, he didn't just die in her arms with her. His other wives were there too. And he pulled the blanket from his face. He said, may Allah curse the Jews. May Allah curse the Christians for what they did to Allah's prophets. He said, do not eulogize me. Do not eulogize me. Do not eulogize me after I'm dead and gone. Okay? And then after that, he took that blanket off again and said, and don't do to me what they did to my brother Jesus by eulogizing me, by glorifying me. That's the birthdays that you Muslims are too stupid to stop celebrating. And that's what you are. You're just stupid. I call it stupidity. When you know something is haram and you refuse to stop, you're stupid. You're condemning yourself due to your stubbornness, due to your arrogance. Those are characteristics of disbelief. Only a stupid person would invalidate their shahada just to prove a point. So you're stupid. You ain't hurting nobody but yourself. We don't eulogize people and we don't celebrate them. We don't eulogize people, nor do we glorify them. You can praise a person. I can say, may Allah bless Sheikh Morsi. Had Allah not sent Sheikh Morsi into my life, I would not be the way I am today, because he's the one who broke this religion down to me in plain, simple English and caused me to understand the true meaning of those hadiths through the mercy of Allah. I can do that. That's praising. I'm not glorifying him. And you see, I added to it through the mercy of Allah. Through the mercy of Allah. Because if Allah didn't will for him to do it, it wouldn't have happened. Okay? We can do that. And also the Prophet said one of the signs. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one of the signs that Allah is pleased with you is he will cause the people to praise and say good things about you. So don't deny me the blessings of Allah. You can compliment me, but you can't glorify me. You can't say that I'm the best person on this earth, that I'm free of mistakes, that all I did was spend my life doing good. You don't know that. So be careful, guys, of eulogizing people. Be careful of glorifying people. You can compliment, you can praise through compliments, but don't praise through glorification, and don't praise through eulogy. Everybody understand that? And celebrating birthdays falls in a category of glorification. Okay? So, the angels of Allah, they glorify Allah a lot, because to glorify, that's the highest form of remembrance. And that's why a lot of my new shahada, some of you are having a hard time accepting the death of your relatives. Death is a part of life. You have to understand that no one or nothing lives forever, and no parent wants to bury their child before them. So the simple fact that your parents died before you, alhamdulillah, that's good. That's good. It would have been hard for them to bury you. Okay? But a lot of us can't let go because we're glorifying them. That's why in Islam, we don't keep pictures hanging on the wall. We don't put pictures of our loved ones on display, because if we have those pictures on display, it's going to be hard for us to accept the decree of Allah. That's why I tell you guys, get those pictures off your computer of your dead relatives. Get those pictures off your desk. Put them in a book and throw them in a cabinet somewhere. How can you accept the decree of Allah if you are reminded of this person that you having a hard time letting go of? Okay? You're over glorifying your parents by not letting go. You're over glorifying your children by not letting go. Glorification is only deserving of Allah, guys, not any human being, not your cat. I loved my cats, but I got to let go. I let go. I know they dead. I miss Sammy. I miss Joshua. I miss Evander. I miss Simbi. I miss Simba. I can name them all. All my cats died of old age. I miss them all. But I'm not going to glorify any of them. They're gone. That's it. May they be an intercessor for me on the day of judgment. Keep it moving. I miss my grandson. He didn't live long enough to experience life. He didn't live long enough to get married. He didn't live long enough to go to college. He just got his driver's license. He had just got his license. He didn't experience not even a fourth of life. But Allah took his soul. He's gone. Easy come, easy go. Another one bites the dust. Keep it moving. You don't over glorify anyone, guys. You only glorify Allah. Allah is eternal. Nothing else in this world is. Okay? Listen to what Abu Dar, what's the source? Sahih Muslim. He said the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was asked, which kind of remembrance is the best? Here's my dalil. He said the best remembrance of Allah, which Allah has chosen for his angels and servants, is to say, Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. There it is. That means glory and praise be to Allah. Every one of you should remember this statement. As the Prophet said, it's easy on the tongue, meaning no matter what language you speak, This is glorifying Allah. This is the highest form to say Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Next time you knew shahadas, you feel yourself sad, you missing your mother, you missing your father, you missing your children. You don't go and bake a piece of bread and say, this is your son. You don't go and make a salad and say, look at my mother looking at me. When you feel yourself missing your dead relatives, simply say, Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. And that'll take that missing, that distorted missing away. Because the glory and praise should be only to Allah, not to no man, no woman, no child, no cat, no dog. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Do you new shahadas understand me? I'm sick of looking at y'all's Facebook pages and you guys putting stupid stuff on there. I got to get rough and tough with y'all right now because y'all been Muslim long enough. You don't sit there and bake some bread and put it on Facebook and say, this is my dead son waking up. Your son been dead. He didn't even live to see nothing. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, sister. And you keep it moving. You don't glorify no human being. Ain't no human being on planet Earth worthy of a piece of you baking bread for them. And naming the bread. What are you, a Hindu? What are you, a Buddhist? You believe la ilaha illallah. Y'all got to stop that dumb stuff, sisters. And I'm talking to you, shahadas. Y'all know who you are. Get that garbage off your Facebook pages and accept the decree of Allah. Your son is gone. He will intercede for you on the day of judgment, just as mine will, inshallah. Okay? Your mother's gone. Your father's gone. They'd rather be gone than bury you before them. Alhamdulillah. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Keep it moving. You got to be strong, sisters. I have never known such weak Muslims. I'm 63 years old. The Prophet Muhammad said each generation of Muslims will become weaker and more removed from the Sunnah than the previous. And I see it because I've never seen a weaker generation of Muslims than you Muslims today. You women are sick, some of you. Death is a part of life. Suck it up and keep it moving. All right? Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Learn that. And when you find yourself slipping away into disbelief, you find yourself slipping away into shirk, do like the angels. This is the words the angels do. All the angels above us. The prophet told the companions, if you could see what I see, there isn't a space in the sky that's not filled with an angel that's saying, Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Throw that garbage in the trash and start glorifying your Lord. And maybe Allah will bring about something better for you. Okay? And again, more dalil for the Arabic brother who didn't know, which goes to show just because a person's Arabic don't mean that they all that in a bag of chips. Allah says again, and verily we angels stand in rows for the prayers, just as you Muslims stand in rows for the prayer. We have this authentic hadith here that when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with his companions, he said, wow, did you guys hear what I just heard? They said, no, we didn't hear anything. He said, I can hear the creaking of the heavens. And no wonder that they creak, because there is not a spot the size of a handspan that doesn't have an angel prostrating and standing in worship. Here's my dalil for the brother who is Arabic but doesn't know Arabic. For the brother who's Arabic but doesn't know Islam. This is an authentic hadith. There's no scholar, and I mean true scholar. I ain't talking about these celebrities that y'all make into scholars. There's no true scholar on planet Earth who will tell you that this hadith that Laila's giving you and Laila's quoting is not authentic, because it is. Okay? So there's your dalil about how the angels pray like us. We pray like them, to be honest, because Jibreel alayhi salam was the one who taught the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam how to pray. And now here's another characteristic about the angels that many of you probably don't know. How many of you Muslims listening to Laila know that the angels make Hajj? Well, they do. But do they make Hajj to Mecca? No. They don't go to Mecca. The Kaaba is for us. The angels have their own Kaaba. The angels have a Kaaba. Where is their Kaaba? It's in the seventh sky. It's in the seventh sky. Remember, I told you guys, there are 7 skies above us. In the 7th one, they have a house that's called El Beit El Mamur. What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. They have a Kaaba called El Beit El Mamur, and they go to make their Hajj there. Listen to what Allah says in the Quran about it, in the interpretation of the meaning. And by El Beit El Mamur, which is the house over the heavens, parallel to the Kaaba at Mecca, they visit. Now, do you guys see why I tell you, you will never, ever, ever, well, I didn't say it, the Prophet said it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you will never, ever, ever understand the Quran until you learn what I said and what I did. The Prophet Muhammad explained this verse. There's a lot of Muslim imams here, because I listen to their khutbahs. They'll tell you that El Beit El Mamur, they don't know what it is. They'll say that the angels live or stay above the Kaaba here. They don't know that El Beit El Mamur is their Kaaba. That's the Kaaba that the angels go to every day. If you learned the hadith from Bukhari, you would know that. We have this version of the hadith from Sahih Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I was taken up to El Beit El Mamur, and every day 70,000 angels would enter it, and they never return to it. And when they leave, another 70,000 would come. This is the house they go to make Hajj. They worship. They perform tawaf around it, just as we perform tawaf around our Kaaba. This is also why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam found Prophet Abraham leaning his back against it. Why? Because he was the one who laid down and built the earthly Kaaba. When the prophet went on his night journey, that's why he found Prophet Abraham there in the 7th heaven with his back against Beit El Mamur. Because he and his son Ismail were the ones who built the original Kaaba. Listen, where's my dalil? I'm not going to speak about this deen without knowledge. Here's your dalil. A man said to Ali, what is Bayt al-Maghmur? He said, it is a house in the heavens, parallel, which means above the Kaaba. Its sanctity. Take care, Marcus, Precious. Its sanctity in the heavens. Precious, ban Marcus. Moderators, ban Marcus. I guess ain't nobody here. Hold on, guys. Let me. Did y'all ban him?
Yes, he's been removed.
Good Lord. You got to stay here, Precious. Okay. So he couldn't do what he wanted to do, so he drew pictures instead. Okay. So it works. It works. It keeps them from doing that, but he still drew 2 of these filthy things on here. Y'all got to watch that screen. Okay, so a person asked Ali, what is El Bayt al-Mamur? And he said, it's a house in the heavens above the Kaaba. Its sanctity in the heavens is like the sanctity of the Kaaba on earth. And every day, 70,000 angels enter and they never return to it. So the angels are not making Hajj to our Kaaba. The angels are making Hajj to their own. They have their own Kaaba, their own Kaaba in the 7th heaven. Where is it? It's not the 7th heaven. Well, in English, we say heaven, but it's the 7th sky. It's in the 7th sky. Okay? And finally, another aspect about the angels. They fear Allah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever Allah decrees a matter in the heavens, the angels beat their wings in submission to what he has said. And it sounds like a chain striking a rock. Also, Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the sound reaches them, and when fear leaves their hearts, they say, what is it? What is it that Allah has said? And they'll say the truth. And he is the most high, the most great. So the angels fear Allah. And also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, on the night that he was taken on his night journey, he passed by a group of angels, and Jibril was like a mat from his fear of Allah. So the angels fear Allah, guys. They fear Allah, and it's sad because we don't. Even though the angels are not going to be punished like us, even though the angels won't have to stand before Allah and be judged, even though the angels won't be in the hellfire, they still fear Allah. Even though they only think what he wants them to think, they still fear him. What does that have to say about us Muslims? So, El Bayt al-Mamur, I want y'all to remember that, because you're going to hear a lot of these famous Dawah men. They're going to tell you that the angels make Hajj to the Kaaba in Mecca. That's a lie. They got their own Kaaba. It's called Bayt al-Mamur. Where is it at? It's not a part of this world. It's in the 7th sky. The 7th sky. The same sky that Prophet Muhammad was allowed to see Abraham. When the prophet went on his night journey, he did not see these prophets in paradise, because no one will enter paradise in body and soul until the day of judgment. Allah put the body and soul together for those prophets so the Prophet Muhammad could meet them. But their bodies and souls were not in paradise. They were in the 7 skies. He met Jesus and John, I think, in the 4th sky. He met Idris, I think, in the second sky. Okay? There are 7 skies. Don't confuse skies with paradise. No one will be in paradise in body and soul until the day of judgment. But the skies, Allah can put who he wants in those. That's where the angels are. And that's where the prophet met those other prophets at. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions or comments?
Yes, thank you, Sister Layla, for clarifying, saying skies instead of heavens, because I've had I had a lot of confusion because people would say heavens, and I was like, how are they in the heavens? I thought,
because they don't speak English. That's why I was telling y'all, Arabic is an intense language. And words in Arabic can mean 100 different things. You know, they'll say heaven. Heaven in us, in English, heaven is paradise. But that's the wrong translation. As Sheikh Morsi, he was the one that taught me that. He said, Layla, when you read the Fusha, and he gave me the Arabic word, and by Sheikh Morsi knowing English too, just like Dr. Asim. Dr. Asim has a PhD in Fusha. He also knows English. He said in English that translates to sky, not heaven. Don't use heaven, because in our language, heaven is paradise. In Arabic, paradise and the skies are separate. So that's why these are people that don't understand the English language. They probably don't speak Fusha either. And they just try to read what the hadith says. And a lot of these hadiths are not translated well. Like I told you guys, a lot of the hadiths are not translated into English well, and that's an example. When the prophet met the other prophets in the heavens. If I were to redo that hadith, I would say the prophet met the other prophets in the skies. I would not use heavens. All right. Yeah.
Also, Sister Leah, I have one more question. I think I wrote in my notes that the angels don't make decisions and they don't speak. I was wondering about when they question Allah about why is he making another creation.
Oh, they speak. What did we learn today about the speak? They only speak when Allah commands them to.
Okay.
Yeah, and Allah wanted them to ask. He commanded them to ask. If you read that verse in the Quran, Allah is clear. He says that he commanded them to ask what he was doing, because all they did was watch. They were watching. When Allah was making Adam, not only were the angels watching, Iblis was too. But even Iblis was afraid to ask, what is he doing? Even Iblis fears Allah, you know? So that's when Allah commanded the angels. He said, ask me what I'm doing. And then one day asked him, well, what are you doing, our Lord? And that's when he, told him. Yeah. Iblis was.
Did they also ask, they were like, why are you creating another creation when they had bloodshed before?
No, that's the verse. I want y'all to read it. If you read it, Allah commanded them to ask him why he was creating. He told them. He told them, ask me what I'm doing, because they all were wondering. Even Iblis. Iblis was wondering, why are you creating another creation when my people, the jinn, used to live here on earth, guys? The jinn were here first. And the jinn did all that bloodshed. So Allah knew that Iblis and the angels were wondering what he was doing, and why would he put it there. So Allah said, just ask me why. And then they asked him. He said, ask me why I would create another creation after what your people did, Iblis. And that's when the angels asked him. Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you, Sister Lynn.
And if you read that verse, like I told y'all, ponder. Well, first of all, remember a lot of the verses of the Quran and the Hadith are translated terribly in English. But if you read the Fusha, it's clear. It's clear. That's why it's important to ask the people of knowledge. And even for myself, years ago, I asked that question too. And it was Sheikh Morsi who broke that verse down to me. Yes. He said they weren't questioning why Allah was doing anything. Allah commanded them to ask him why, because Allah saw how curious they were and how curious Iblis was. Okay. And they were wondering, why would you put some more people there when we because the angels were the ones that ran the jinn out of earth into the ocean. Allah sent the angels to destroy the jinn that was here. So they were like, after we did all that, why are you going to put another one there? But he made them ask him that. He commanded them to ask me.
Is that, Sister Laila, is that when they asked that, and is that when he said, I know what you know not?
Yeah, that's at the end of that verse. Yeah, exactly. What does it mean? It means exactly what it says, Brother Ahmed. A lot of people, when you read the hadith about Bayt al-Mahmur, it means exactly what it says. And that's why I tell y'all, beware of the Sufis. The Sufis will say that they die in there. Allah doesn't mention that. We don't read anymore in it. It means exactly what Allah says. They enter and never return back to it. It just means that. Don't try to figure out anything else. Don't try to add to what Allah says. Don't try to take away. Just say what Allah says and keep it moving. Don't do like the Sufis and try to say that means they die afterwards, or that means this. No, it means exactly what Allah says. They go there and they never return. That's it. Just know that. Don't try to second guess what Allah meant, because Allah knows what we don't know. And a lot of people will ask, why is it that Allah doesn't explain everything to us? He tells us why. Allah says some things I'll give you the explanation to, but most things I won't, as a way of testing you. Allah is testing to see if you truly believe in him. If you believe in him, you're not going to ask why. You're not going to do like the Sufis and try to say it, that means the angels are dying. You're just going to say, okay, Allah, we hear you, we accept it, and keep it moving. You want to know what happens? Find out on the day of judgment. On the day of judgment, Allah will answer all your questions then. You will get to see Bayt al-Mahmur, and you can see what happens inside there. Okay? But until then, this is Allah's test for us. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another.
Jazakallah.
Oh, okay.
This you have really, really on this day, I have truly been blessed. I have been truly blessed. I have been truly blessed to learn this.
Alhamdulillah.
To learn this.
Alhamdulillah. Brother Ahmed, that's what my whole class was about. To answer your question, that's what the whole class was about. What did we say? Their accountability is nothing like ours. Only Allah knows. That's another thing. You missed that, Brother Ahmad? That's it. They're not held accountable like we are, but we cannot say that Allah doesn't hold them accountable for something else, because only Allah knows. Okay? What they will be held accountable for, I gave you an example. Only Allah knows. If Allah wanted to, he could have told Jibril. He could have told Michael, why didn't y'all do like the angel of death and make the earth give it up? I mean, but that was just an example I used. But They're held accountable, but not like us. What they're held accountable for is between them and Allah. Do you understand now, Brother Ahmad? I don't want y'all to try to read more into it. This is Allah's way of giving us knowledge, but to a certain level. At a certain level, he reserves the fact that only he knows best. So we accept what he says and we leave it alone. We know that the angels are not going to be judged. We know the angels are not going to be in hell. We know that the angels are not held accountable like us. But can I tell you as a human being that Allah is not holding them accountable for anything? No. How can I say that? I don't know what's going on between him and his angels. So why would I put myself in that? All I can tell you is if they are held accountable, it ain't like us. Do you understand now, Brother Ahmad? Let me know if you do or don't. All right, leave it at that. Let it go. Don't sit there and let your jinn start putting doubt in your heart about Allah. I got to be rough and tough because some of y'all overthink it out of weakness. Only the strong survive. We got to remember the strong survive. Yeah, they're not held accountable like we are. But can't nobody on this planet say that they're not held accountable for something however Allah has them. Because we're not Allah. We don't know what he does, and Allah does whatever he wants. All I can tell you, Brother Ahmad, is they ain't going to hell. And that's the end of it. Next question. Next question. Brothers out here, you like that? You like the way I answer? Yeah, I got to put the fear in their heart, brothers out here. You know, you got to make your voice go up and down, brothers out here. When you giving dawah, you got to stir their hearts and know when to pull them in and when to schlock them. Because they'll overthink. They'll overthink and start asking who, what, where, when, why. He said he's learning from me. Yeah, I'm older than you. You should learn from me.
Sister Laila, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Where's her question? Is she still there? What happened? Who's that? Precious?
She probably has to fix her mic. I don't know who it was.
Any other questions while she tries to figure it out? And we can see what happened. That dude came in here. He tried to do what he does and make my screen turn, but because I wasn't host. You're right, see? Zoom was right. They don't know what he's doing either, but they say it's probably because I'm host. But so what I'll do is when I'm doing my lectures, I'll take me off a host, but y'all got to watch the screen to ban him too. Because y'all see what he was drawing. He put that nasty filth on my screen.
Yes, and it also says you can disable it. The person sharing the screen can disable that before you start your meeting.
It is disabled. Nobody should be able to use it but us moderators. That's why we can't figure it out. The only people that should be able to see. Do you see it? What does it say? What? Maybe I'm misreading it.
No, it says that to disable it, the person sharing the screen to disable it. But if he's going past that, then yeah.
Yeah, we don't know how that's why we can't figure it out. How because we got it where you can't even use it except unless you're a moderator or a host. So we don't know how look, screen share is not even typed. You see that? There's no click in the box for screen share. The only people that can screen share is us, the host and moderators. But he does that. We don't, and Zoom doesn't know how he's doing that either. Yeah. Okay, any other question? Well, did that sister come back? Let me look.
No, she didn't come back.
Did she get disconnected? Atika is her name. Atika.
Oh, she's here.
Then why come she ain't talking? Atika? Atika?
She can hear, Sister Laila. She can hear.
Oh, what happened to her? Oh, okay. Well, I guess she don't have no questions. All right. Okay, guys. The next class that we have is the what's the class? Yeah, my schedule is all messed up. Yeah, we got the Sacred Bonds of Marriage. The Sacred Bonds of Marriage is at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I got to do my PowerPoint for it. Yeah. Did I do that? So, oh, yes. Go to the shorts for those of you who are looking for Brother Youssef's shorts. Go to my YouTube channel. Click on shorts. I put his shorts out. 5 of them.
No, Sister Laila, I was asking was about the birthday thing you were saying.
What about it? Why does she talk and it stops?
Sister Laila, can you hear me now?
Now we can. What's the question?
Can you hear me now, Sister Laila?
Yes. What is your question?
Oh, I was going back to the birthday thing. The one you were saying, like the birthday thing. Can you even in Saran to separate? Can you still do something with your family?
No. Why would you do something? Why would you worship your children? We don't worship nobody but Allah. Y'all got to stop that. That's Kafirism. That's paganry. Just because somebody was born doesn't mean nothing. We don't celebrate the birth of anyone, and we don't celebrate the death of anyone. This is major shirk. Why are y'all raising y'all kids on that crap? You tell your children, you came from Allah, and that's a blessing. We don't celebrate it. You're not a God. We only worship Allah. When I was a kid, I grew up in the 60s. Only Muslim, only Arab American too, in my whole neighborhood. Oh yeah. I didn't celebrate no birthdays. My mother told me when I was 6 years old, let me tell you something, little girl. She said, you ain't nothing but a little girl. You ain't no God. And even if you was a princess, she said, you ain't worthy of no cake. You ain't worthy to be prayed to. You ain't worthy to be glorified. She said, you were created to worship Allah. You were created to worship Him and Him alone. She said, not me, not your stepfather, not your brothers, and definitely not yourself. She said, so any ideas you have about a birthday cake or presents, you better throw them down the toilet and go pray to your Lord. I was 6 years old. Y'all know what I said? I don't like cake anyway, which I didn't. I like pies, peach cobbler. I said, I don't like cake anyway. And I didn't care. I never celebrated a birthday. Never bothered me. My mother put it to me in the truth. And that's what you Muslims today are going to have to do. Y'all got to stop teaching your children to worship themselves. That's why Allah has this war here. Who is your baby? It's just a baby. What if Allah took it away? Maybe that's why so many of our children are apostating. Maybe that's why a lot of our kids die. Whenever you love something more than Allah, or you love something on the same level as Allah, Allah is going to take it from you. Do you want Allah to take your children from you, Atika? Do you want to lose your children to death? Or do you want to lose them to the dunya? Then stop worshiping them and just be real with them like my mother was with me and my brothers and sisters. Ain't none of us celebrate no birthday and never wanted to. Like I said, I don't like cake anyway. Exactly.
Thank you, Sister Laila.
Yeah, y'all got to keep it real. The truth is a bitter pill to swallow, but we need to teach our children to swallow the truth.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the reality. You don't celebrate no birthday. Who are you? So Yeah. Yeah. But thank God, Sister Amina, we don't worship the people. You can get mad. People think I'm crazy. I've been called crazy all my life. Do I care? I've been called eccentric all my life. That just makes me know I'm better than most people. So let people talk. It's all about what Allah say, not the people. Most people gonna be in hell. You gonna follow them to the hellfire? Most people lie. Most people cheat. Most people fornicate. Most people adulterate. Most people steal. Most people do drugs. Most people. I don't want to be affiliated with them. So keep it moving. That's the reality. Yeah, my mother was rough. But like I said, I grew up in the 60s. That was a rough period in America. And I'm glad because it made me strong today. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I remember when I was in the 3rd grade. When I was in, we ain't had no Muslim schools back then. I went to school with a bunch of non-Muslims. And I remember some little girl was sitting next to me. She said, I heard today is your birthday. She said, why come you don't celebrate birthdays? I said, because I don't like cake and ice cream gives me diarrhea. And I don't want to have worms. I told her because Johnny, I heard the reason why Johnny ain't in school is because he got worms. I remember I was in 3rd grade. She said, ew, well, you know what? I ain't gonna celebrate my birthday either because don't nobody want worms like Johnny got. I was in 3rd grade. I sure did. Back then, we thought ice cream gave you worms. Kids used to get worms when I was a kid. I don't hear about them getting it now. But kids would always get worms. Ugh. So I don't like cake. And I don't like ice cream because I don't want to get worms. That's what I told them. And I meant it, you know. All right, guys, I'm going to log out for right now. I'll be back at 9:30, inshallah, with the sacred bonds of marriage. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.